Hi, everyone. I'm Mandy Ray with OPA, the Organization for Professional Astrology. And today we are here with Louise Eddington. Louise, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your practice?
Hi, well, I'm Louise Eddington, the Cosmic Owl of Cosmic Owl Astrology. I'm also a wisdom weaver who weaves tarot and shamanic practices into my astrology work and more. And I've been an OPA certified practitioner for quite some time now, and I've realized I cannot actually remember when it was. It's been a little while. And I'm also an OPA peer group leader and going to be an OPA mentor next year. So I love OPA. So I'm very glad to be here to talk about the OPA retreat that's coming up in my state where I live. So yay.
Wonderful. Do they say sunny Utah? No, I think they say snowy Utah, probably.
Well, it's really sunny. You've never it's not quite as sunny as Colorado, I think, but there's when I used to ski, there's nothing like skiing on a bluebird day, as they call it. So we have a lot of sun.
Yeah, and the OPA retreat is coming up in October in Park City, and
Mhm.
you live there. And so, what you will be doing is leading a peer group, which
Mhm.
I've had the pleasure of taking before. And peer group is one of my favorite things about OPA certification.
Mhm.
So, I'm going to let you talk a little bit about peer group
Mm.
and what it encompasses and what it entails and how awesome it is.
Yeah. Well, what I love about the OPA peer group and, the OPA certification process, which is peer groups lead to OPA certification alongside consulting skills and astronomy, right? I think, they don't think they've added anything else yet. But the peer group particularly is such an intimate environment. There's a maximum of 5 people, the facilitator, which is the leader, which is just a peer, and 4 other people who are pursuing certification or exploring the peer group. And what I love about the peer group process is that it is that intimate kind of connection and covers every area of being a professional astrologer out in the world, rather than just you know, judging your technique or whatever. It's how you work as an astrologer. So we look at your business plan. We look at we do practice readings, which is not as intimidating as it sounds. I was intimidated the first time, and after that, I'm like, oh, this is really supportive and helpful, because unless you make any really huge glaring errors, nobody's judging your technique. It's all about how you consult with another person in a consultation setting. And it just covers all the problems that you might have. It gets you to look at issues that have come up for you with problem clients, but also that could come up from other people's experience. So it's more about how you work as an astrologer and how you can develop and grow a, as a practitioner. So,
And
mhm.
one of the things I think is really important about that is you can learn astrology for years. You can know it
Mhm.
inside and out, the technical aspects, the decans, the rulers. I mean, we could throw out so
Oh,
many different terms and the perfection years and
mhm.
Hellenistic and evolutionary astrology. And there are many, many different
Oh,
schools of thought for astrology.
oh yeah.
But one thing that I think OPA does well is the interpersonal aspects of it. Uh,
Mhm.
I think having a conversation about how you deal with, for instance, hard clients, and we all have them,
Mhm.
and sometimes you just have friction with a certain person,
Yeah.
and how you also approach opening the session and how you approach closing the session and follow ups. And then, secondly, the business plan, which people might not realize is actually there. You have to do it. Once you want to become
Yeah.
an astrologer, you have to have a business plan.
Yeah.
So what do you think for yourself when you went through peer group was the most
Mhm.
helpful?
Oh gosh, well, all of it, but honestly, I'm glad you mentioned the business plan because I'm not very strategic, and so I kind of do things on a whim as they come up, you know. But having a business plan, and I've kept it up since, because as a peer group leader, especially, and a certified astrologer, we have to keep, you know, updating this. I've realized that a business plan just gives you something to aim for. It's a bit like setting new moon intentions in a way. It doesn't mean it's set in stone and that you're going to be judged a year later or whatever that you didn't get this done in 2024. It just focuses your intention of how you want to grow your business. And that's the great thing about doing it in a small group as well. You get ideas of things that you could do in your business that would help grow your business, rather than just thinking you only have to do readings, for example. So
Yeah, absolutely. There's just like any quote unquote industry, there are lots of different roles people can play.
mhm.
Some of them are one-on-one. Some people want to do copywriting for
Yeah.
astrology. So all of that,
Or
yeah.
like Stormy Grace, you know, she actually suggested I start doing merch on my YouTube channel, you know, and I never thought of adding things like that with my logo on merch. I don't promote it much, you know, but little things like that. It gives you these ideas of adding in all these little parts of things that can help you earn money as an astrologer, basically. So,
And that actually gets driven home that, you know, you have to value yourself and your own energy and your
hmm
own time. And we talk about even rates and what are you
hmm
charging? Are you charging enough? Are you charging too much? What is
yeah,
it like in your area? And you know, what is the lay of the land where you live? Is it something, for
mhm.
instance, I live in Alabama and I don't maybe charge as much as someone who lives in LA for an astrology reading.
Like me, I only work online. I don't do in-person sessions. So how does that work, you know?
How, yeah, absolutely. And the ins and outs of all of it, which change from person to person. And the peer group is really interesting because you get to see how other people do it as well and
Yeah,
decide to pick and choose what is it that I like and what is it that
yeah.
I want to invite in or not. And I do love one of the things that we go over in peer group, and I personally have taken it so I can speak on that. So
Mm.
is the question of difficult clients. That is one of my favorite
Uh-huh.
because I think that, you know, we go into this with this cheery sort of, oh, astrology, let's all, you know, and then you
Oh,
have someone who's had a really hard time, you know,
mhm.
and it may be difficult. So what do you lead people into when you're talking about that specific subject when you're leading
Mm.
peer group?
Yeah, well, you know, this is going to be my third peer group. This is my first in-person peer group, so I'm so excited about that. And I've already got two spaces gone, by the way. There's only two left, so please grab one. Um, I lead them into kind of saying it just has to be challenging to you. It doesn't have to be an absolute nightmare. It was just something that really challenged perhaps how you work, or you just didn't connect with the person, or something like that. And one of my approaches that I think I'm going to be bringing in myself, and by the way, the peer group leader has to do this too. We have to bring a challenging client in and we have to do a reading. So we are peers, is that how you market yourself and put your language out there in the world can kind of put off the clients that you won't connect with. It doesn't mean they're awful people, but focusing on that side of it, on what you're putting out in the world, attracts the kind of clients that you work well with, let's say. So,
Absolutely.
mhm.
Absolutely. And personally, I have to right off the bat kind of say myself, I don't do hard and fast predictions. So don't come ask me if you're going to win the lottery because we don't do that.
I say that straight up on my website. I said, if you want to know, you know, if you're going to meet the love of your life this year and get married, I'm not the one for you.
Right. And some astrologers are the one for you,
Yes,
because
yeah.
there are definitely people who that make that their business, so and
Mhm.
another thing that I really like is the camaraderie. Like you said, we are
Mhm.
peers. And so
Yeah,
that's been one of my favorite things
yeah.
to experience with the OPA peer group. And I know you've probably met friends and now colleagues who you're close
Well,
with.
you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the people I've met, not everybody. Sometimes in a peer group, it doesn't mean you dislike them, but you don't connect as closely. But I've made some really good friends and through the OPA peer group process. And that's always great as well for helping your career, because then you talk to people, you connect with other astrologers that are working in a very professional manner, which is the main aim of OPA, to be quite honest, so that you can support each other and grow your business.
Yes, it is the Organization for Professional Astrology, after all.
Exactly.
I think it would be helpful, astrology or not, for people to do peer groups for whatever subject that they
I
are
agree.
in.
Well, I guess it's kind of based on a mastermind kind of model, which was what from Think and Grow Rich, I think that came
Mm,
from. Um, so it's a small group meeting and really going into detail to attract what they want in life. And so this is based on the astrology business. That's all. So,
absolutely. And
yeah.
the practice readings for one another, I found to be extremely helpful.
Mm.
Um, I had someone tell me one time that I was a little motherly, I think, or something like that, which was fine. I needed to know that I don't need
Yeah.
to tell someone to eat their vegetables in an astrology session. And that's been a really helpful part of this. And you trade off with others and you see how they do it, and then they give you feedback. And has
Yeah.
any of the feedback been difficult for you yet?
Actually, no. But then I'm such a Sagittarius. I'm such that Miss Positivity that even if it's somewhat challenging feedback, I suppose I always go, well, I've learned something from that. So
Absolutely. I know I did. And it didn't, generally speaking, I think these peer groups are done in the spirit of kindness
Oh,
and to build
absolutely.
you up. So there is no, if you're watching this and wondering about an
Mhm.
OPA peer group and what it's like, it is a great experience all around.
Yeah.
And this one coming up, let's just go ahead and talk about Park City a little
Yes.
bit. We'll be in
Mm.
person. They don't always happen in person with OPA, that we have online availability for peer groups,
Hmm.
but this one will be at the OPA Retreat Awakening in Park City, Utah, in person. And I've had the pleasure of doing 2 online and 1 in person. And
Hmm.
it is a different
Same.
experience. It's a great experience in person because there's something about that heart field that you get into in person where you can
Hmm.
feel the other's energy and see their facial expressions clearly and know
Hmm.
what's going on. But Park City in October with the aspen leaves.
Oh, well, I live in Utah, and I used to live in Park City, just a mile from the actual venue of the retreat, and it's just such a gorgeous time of year. The aspen leaves turn gold and yellow and beautiful, and Park City has trails, and I know where most of them are, so remind me. And just the view from the venue, is just gorgeous, and it's just a beautiful place to stay. The weather's beautiful at that time of year in Utah. It's not too hot, and it's before the snow really kicks in. There may be some at the top of the mountains, but that adds to the beauty. So, it's just an amazing place to visit. It's an old silver mining town that's famous for the greatest snow on earth, they call it. So, because it's powder, pure powder, very light snow. And and I can't rave about it enough. And the venue, you know, I know the venue. I actually went and toured it for the event organizer, and I'm helping her organize it with a few things. But I've also been to events at that venue, and it's a lovely, peaceful venue with beautiful hotel rooms, a pool, hot tubs, all
Hot
that
tub.
kind of thing.
And I've
Yeah.
been to an OPA conference, and just a little bit about it. Both Louise and I have. It's smaller in scale, and so it feels like community, like friendship.
Much more intimate. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a day of speakers all in one room. Then we go off and do these peer groups or tracks. But this year, this time, they've introduced something that I'm quite excited about, is that all the faculty, that's the leaders, the teachers and speakers, are having a sign-up list for people if people want to join them for dinner each evening. That doesn't mean we're paying for it, but usually, I don't know if you remember, Mandy Ray, at the other OPA conferences, there's a bit of a bun fight. People going, "Can I come and have dinner with you?" Well, now the kind of shyer people or the more reticent people who can just go and put their name on the list and join the somebody they would like to talk to more at dinner. Or you can just have dinner on your own as well.
You can retreat it all the way. You want to retreat yourself,
yeah. And I'm actually trying to organize a special little thing, hopefully one evening as well. So we'll see if that comes off. But all I can say at this point, because it's been approved that I can ask if I can do it, so I'm asking with the hotel, is bring something sparkly or something a bit dancey. So
sparkles, retreat, aspen leaves, hot tubs, and peer group, which
and the night sky.
Yes, Gemini Brett will be leading some starry sky walks. And that's also one of my favorite parts about these retreats. He took us out to see Mercury rise the last time, and it's not easy to see Mercury at all times. So this was really, really neat. And there's just so many talented people at this retreat. And the fact that you get to go and have peer group with Louise, and then maybe go on a star walk, and then get to go to dinner, or sit in the hot tub and have yourself a wonderful week, because it is 5 days.
Yes,
5 days. So
Yeah.
it'll be a reset for all of us.
Oh, it will, I can't wait. And I'm only 20 miles from my house, but I'm totally gonna switch off from my house for those
absolutely
days. So,
tell me, Louise, is there anything else you would like to say to the public?
Well, I would like to say that OPA is my favorite of the astrology orgs because of this really kind of integrative, kind of intimate approach to it. It's all about connection and community, which is more than some of the other orgs. Some of the other orgs, I mean, of course, they have their strengths as well, but this is my favorite. It was the first conference I went to, the OPA conference in Zion, which was southern Utah. And after that, I kind of knew this was my org, because I'm quite, I work online only. Despite appearances, I'm actually very introverted and quite shy. And that's why I kind of like the OPA retreats, because they are more intimate. So come along, have a wonderful retreat week.
Yes, absolutely. It is inviting the OPA retreats, and you are invited to the OPA retreat, which you can find on opaastrology.org. All about the retreat, all about the tracks, which you can choose different tracks, peer group.
Can I just say, you have to have been a practicing paid astrologer to do a peer group for 6 months, for 6 months minimum. And that only means, having just launched for 6 months, it's we welcome beginners, but I'd love to see anybody in my peer group as well. I know who the 2 people are that have already signed up, and they're lovely. And so let's get a lovely group together. So.
Yes, 2 more spots left in Louise's, and there's all sorts of tracks as well. And, it does take you closer to certification. So it is really worth it. It feels so nice to have people helping you make your practice be the best it can be. And I know that I've experienced that. And this conference, retreat conference, will help you along the way. So opaastrology.org, you can read all about peer group, the requirements, consulting skills, and then the other tracks.
Isn't that full consulting?
Is it? Oh yeah, you might be right.
I think it might be. So,
yeah. So sign up fast. They're going quick. All right, everyone. We are going to sign off. So I am Mandy Ray with OPA, the Organization for Professional Astrology. Thank you, Louise of Cosmic Owl Astrology.
There you go.
Absolutely. Go check it out. All right. We'll talk to you soon.